deserve to have the best physical, mental, spiritual. Zealous Wellness with Mike Hollis.
Welcome. Sorry, you caught me just taking a little drink of water there. Welcome to our next episode of Zealous Wellness with Mike Hollis. Today's going to be a good one. I might be a little aggressive, we'll say, because I am a little triggered by our food industry and what I'm seeing, and what I'm going to show you tonight. There's going to be a couple clips I'm going to show you of kind of the stuff that I see. I literally just screen recorded some of these things off of Instagram that I follow, and just some of the stuff that I've learned over the past. And call it what you want. You give credit where you want, as far as whether you believe it or not. I just believe it. I've seen a lot of these same type of things from different, social media people, and of course there are different recordings of different scientists that say this exact same thing. So it's not just one person making up this weird stuff. You'll see what I'm talking about when we get to it. But one of the biggest things that people don't realize is just how bad our food is. And, we're talking about health and wellness here. Obviously you're here on this podcast for a reason, to kind of understand and learn a little bit about health, wellness, fitness, mental side of life. Me being a former kicker in the NFL, I clearly have a little bit of mental strength, because I think we all have to, as far as kickers are concerned, because it's such a very highly stressful job. But I'm really into fitness and health and life longevity and anti-aging, those kind of things. And so I like to find things that will help me with that, and obviously help you as well. But the thing with regards to, what we're battling, I say we, us as a healthy people that want good nutrition and want good lifestyles and want to live a long time, versus the food industries, and specifically here in the United States. I've talked about this before in previous episodes, that we, here in the United States, our ingredients label is twice the size of that same product over in, Europe somewhere, different countries. They ban certain things that are in our foods here in the United States, of course, but they don't ban them here for some reason. So the FDA, I think, is full of crap. Honestly, I could use another word, but I don't want to. They really upset me, because they'll approve things that you're like, wait, what? They got all this research and studies on all the negative side effects that whatever it is they're approving, they show. Like, how are you approving these things when there's so many things negatively affecting people because of these products that you're approving that are safe and effective? You've heard that word safe and effective before as well with the COVID vaccine, right? Don't get me started with that. It's another episode. If you want to get really political and go down some rabbit holes, I can definitely do that for you. But today we're going to talk about just the corruption in the food industry and manipulation and greed. That's really what pisses me off. Upsets me a lot, because of the greed. We choose money and power and authority and greed over our fellow humans' lifestyles, and our fellow children's lifestyles, and our lifestyles in general. So with that said, we're going to come back and we're going to, I'll show you a couple of videos of seeing things that I've kind of, put together, and we'll talk about some stuff. But here's a quick word from our sponsor that is on the other end of this whole, concept of greed and power and all that, from 3 International. It's a supplement company that does good for you, not bad for you. So here's a word from our sponsor. We'll be right back.
At 3, we want to give you the true health benefits that you're paying for, something you can feel and see a difference quickly. Each product is packed with powerful plant-based nutrients that are combined through a proprietary curation process, and then infused with innovative cellular absorption technologies to ensure the nutrients absorb into the cells for maximum wellness. The quality and effectiveness of our life-changing products is evident by their approval to be included in the well-known Prescriber's Digital Reference, or PDR. PDR has been a valuable resource to the medical doctors and providers in the healthcare community for decades. Our products are GMO-free, clinically studied, and third-party tested, all designed to support health and proactive wellness for everyone.
Welcome back. During that little commercial break, I got on Google, did a little bit more specific search. I was talking to my producer before the show about the cigarette industry and how they've discovered that there's things that are put in cigarettes that are actually on purpose to make us addicted to the nicotine and everything like that. So I'm going to take it a little step further. This might upset you a little bit. Okay. I don't know the person's name exactly. I think Google has a little bit of a filter where they don't want to give away too much stuff, because you can Google things on search things on other search engines, and you'll find a lot more different information. So just so you know, there are some, algorithms and things like that, some things that keep the answers you're looking for from popping up. But anyways, pulling up this stuff, you understand that cigarettes are addictive, right? Well, doing some research and finding out that the cigarettes were addictive because a company, Philip Morris, had hired a certain individual that was specialized in that. And so this person made cigarettes addictive by certain, chemicals and things like that they actually added to the cigarettes. Well, the worst part is that same person was hired by Kraft, General Foods, and Nabisco, we'll say. I'll read it word for word. It says in the 1980s and 1990s, companies like Philip Morris and R.J. Reynolds acquired major food companies. Now remember, Philip Morris was responsible for the cigarette part, right? They acquired companies called like Kraft, General Foods, and Nabisco. They applied the same research and manipulative tactics used for tobacco in the food industry. That is so irritating. I don't know how irritated you are, but I mean, come on. Let's get real here. They are making us addicted to crappy stuff, cigarettes and junk food and fast foods, which you're going to see a lot of really eye-opening information about some foods that you might be familiar with or may even be addicted to. I don't know. But you'll understand that it comes to a point where enough is enough. Like, come on, like this is going to, of course, there's no money in healthy people. So let's get them addicted to crappy foods, so they eat a bunch of crappy foods, and then get them unhealthy and get them sick, so that we have big pharma in our pocket, so we can have big pharma take care of them with little band-aids that will make them, live a little bit longer, or might go through some stuff. But again, guess what? We're getting paid. Okay, so you're deepening the pockets of big pharma and all these companies that are just monopolizing. Kraft is a huge company. Just Google Kraft and how many companies they own. If Kraft is involved in this crap, I'll say it, and they got all these companies with all these food and beverage services and not services, but products that they're actually selling to the majority of the United States. Now, of course, I mentioned before, other countries don't do quite that much. They, of course, they're monitored a little bit better over there in different countries. Australia, I know they do free range chickens and everything. It's just, but much better for you. The food over there is. We went to Vietnam recently. The food over there was much better. I didn't gain a pound. I ate a lot, and I never gained any weight. But yeah, so going into this whole concept of what is triggering my frustration is the fact that they hide this from us. And companies like you'll see on the video too, Chick-fil-A, we all think, oh, Chick-fil-A, it's a healthy alternative. They say eat more chicken. That's their logo, right? They don't want you to eat the beef. It's the cow up there saying, hey, don't eat us anymore. Eat some chicken. They're better for you. Man, that's crap. Again, I've used that word a little bit too much tonight, but you understand what I'm saying. Of all the companies, and it's a faith-driven company. Chick-fil-A, yes, they're closed on Sundays because the owner of the company is a Christian. Okay, well, stop cutting corners and stop putting stuff in your food that's cancerous. You're going to see what I'm talking about. Okay, because right now it's law. By law, you can legally go in there in any Chick-fil-A and request ingredients for any of their products, and they have to print them out for you. And you'll see it. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about. So when these companies are so ingrained in profits, because the bottom line is the most important thing for them, they first off, you got to think about this, but put it in perspective. Just come down to reality here for a second, okay? If a McDonald's, if a Taco Bell, those fast food type of companies have food that's so cheap to eat and buy, right? You buy stuff from McDonald's. They talk about how, the less fortunate people, the people that don't have as much money, maybe the lower class will say, or whatever, inner city, people, whatever the case may be, people that can't afford to eat healthier, I guess they go to McDonald's and, they can survive because it's a lot of calories. But they're not good calories for you. Ultimately in the long run, you're killing yourself. I'll be honest with you. That's my opinion, but too much McDonald's. I think some guy actually did a little thing and wanted to kind of prove it wrong and ate McDonald's for like a month straight. I think he ended up dying or something like that. Don't quote me on that. But you understand my point is that when you get involved in industries that are protecting the bottom line, they're going to be bringing in ingredients, so food industries, of course, ingredients that are cheaper than what they can find anywhere else. So like you'll see McDonald's in there again about the beef and just in general. Are you really eating butchered cow meat in your hamburgers at McDonald's? Do you know that? Do you know that for a fact? I don't know. You tell me, but based on what I'm going to show you and other things, there's stuff you can do your own research on. The thing people are starting to realize that it's not just a little bit of cow beef. It's a lot more than just beef. It's beef from other animals. It's meat from other animals. It's not good stuff, clearly. So when you get involved in understanding what it is to be healthy and take care of yourself, I would have even Subway. Again, we go Chick-fil-A to Subway. There's a little section in one of the videos that you're going to see too about Subway and how it's not great food. Okay. So again, but it all revolves around the bottom line. Yeah. These companies put a lot of money into advertising and making things appeal great. Oh yeah. You eat these foods because they're very healthy for you. Heart health, such and such. They'll put words on there, fancy words, but they don't mean anything. They'll put fancy colors on the packages. They'll for kids, of course, they get all the cartoon actors and actresses and, all these anime type of people, just people that attract kids. And if they're eating Cocoa Puffs for breakfast, well, hey, I can too. Cereal is what I'm really referring to. Cereals are horrible for you, by the way. So getting into more detail, and again, I'll just kind of let you guys see for yourself. So this first video is going to show a lot of information. It's maybe a couple minutes long. It's a little long, but I want to just give you the information. I could have made it a lot longer, which tells you something, because you're going to start seeing some of these things. You're like, oh my gosh. And then if I have more, I just didn't want to kill the whole, a lot of time with this video. So watch this video. When we get back, we'll talk a little bit about what you see and what you saw. And then we'll go into a little bit of a different direction. But the main point of all this is just how horrible our food sources are and the monopoly that powerful people have over us peasants. What do you want to call us? I don't know. We're just we're food eaters. We're not worthy. So we're just going to get and I don't know if you guys saw a very high executive in Campbell's Soup recently was caught on a hot mic. I guess he was recorded somehow talking to somebody saying that he wouldn't even eat Campbell's Soup products. And he talked about bioengineered meats that are in Campbell food products. And he even said, I will never, that's for the poor people is what he said. Okay. Again, there we go with the peasants thing. Okay. So watch this real quick. It's a couple minutes long. And then we get back, we'll get into some deep, dirty stuff for you. Okay. So we'll be right back. Watch this. And then I'll see you after this video clip.
British court ruled Chobani can't call its yogurt Greek due to the hormone-disrupting chemicals lab tests found inside the yogurt.
Customers at Subway say there wasn't tuna in their tuna sandwich, and they are suing the sandwich shop.
This Frankenstein might just be the fakest food on the planet. Less than half of Subway's chicken is even real chicken DNA. The rest is a mash of soy, gums, and fillers engineered to bulk up the meat. And the tuna scandal? Zero detectable tuna DNA in 21 independent tests because it was too processed to identify. Feeding your kids plastic glue and industrial lubricants. I'm talking about Oreos. That cream in the middle, it's not cream at all. It's fucking rapeseed oil, whipped with emulsifiers that act like edible glue, holding the sludge together. And the cookie part, stripped cocoa and chemical stabilizers, enough to start clogging your arteries if you eat them too much.
Hey man, so I'm walking into this Chick-fil-A. By law, they have to now tell you exactly what's in their food if it's hazardous. So I'm walking in Chick-fil-A. I'm going to ask them for their ingredients in their chicken sandwich. This should go over like a fart in church. So here's a list of everything, all of the ingredients that's in a chicken sandwich, okay? I just looked up half of this, and half of this is linked to cancer.
Combo bin of meat. A combo bin is 2,000 pounds approximately of meat that's coming in from a boning facility where they take it off the carcass and put it into here.
The meat in these boxes comes from many different animals and many different places. Some is even from overseas. All of it is ground together to make the juicy hamburger Americans love. Hamburger used to be the scraps left over from butchering just one cow. But a significant change has occurred. Now, parts of many cows are blended together by the ton.
All the fast food spots are closing down too, which I think, that's because of everybody's waking up to the shit. I mean, you have just constant videos and shit coming out where people are just becoming more aware, but McDonald's closed 700 stores. Wendy's is closing 300 plus stores, fourth quarter alone. Like, I think we're entering a new era where fast food is out.
Well, going back.
Oh, gross. Oh man, I'm sorry, bro. 1 year of eating just like ultra processed garbage food. It probably tastes good, addictive, overweight. Okay, that looks like the way I eat. That looks animal based. It's got meat, it's got fruit, avocado. Great. 60 days of eating healthy. Oh wow, look at that.
Right. I put that last one on there on purpose because I want people to understand you can reverse this stuff, right? Just because you went on a binge and ate a bunch of fast food for a while and you don't think it's, oh man, I'm telling you, you can start eating better. Yes, you're not going to, at first, I've done it before where I've been really crappy with my foods and ate like junk foods and stuff like that, got real heavy. But then getting back into health and wellness and getting back into physical shape, it's a period of time it's kind of that season of suck, as we called it before. But once you get over that, things, foods taste fine. You'll get back to eating, normal and so forth. But I don't know how much you learned from any of that, whether, again, think it's true, think it's not, think it's false. I don't care, whatever the case may be. But I've seen a lot of different things that are associated with the same sort of subjects and different people talking about what they've discovered about how unhealthy these foods are. And of course, with the Oreo, again, there's things that, that are in formaldehyde. There's things that are like, they talked about alcohol being a disinfectant. And so people who, when you're consuming alcohol, you're killing the good bugs in your stomach that are actually there for a reason to help you digest your food. And there's a lot of things because alcohol is a disinfectant. It kills germs and bugs, right? So again, getting off on a different subject there, but you clearly saw there's a lot of really radical stuff out there with regards to just the carelessness of what companies are putting in their foods that we are consuming. And it's not, if you think about it, it's not just the mom and pops places. I don't know how much they, obviously the bottom line is great for them. It's, definitely important for them as well, but it's not a corporation. So they're kind of responsible for their food. So it's not like they're spreading a bunch of processed junk and having control over what stores across the nation and even the world, for within reason, because every country has different, guidelines and so forth. But understanding that when you're eating these foods, here in the United States, that these corporations that are big and large, like McDonald's, of course, they sell a lot of hamburgers, right? Well, it's all coming from the same sources. Every McDonald's around here, every Taco Bell, they all get delivered in every parts of the country. All these hundreds of thousands of fast food chains and stores, they get a portion of what is created for the whole corporation. So for all of them are the same foods. Okay, so it comes from corporate. So it's the big dogs upstairs they're writing the rules and making the rules and watching their bottom line, of course, because they want to be rich and wealthy and they don't care. That's the thing, is it's very difficult to understand. That's why I get so passionate about this stuff, is because there's no ethics and loyalty really and morals anymore when it comes to food and corporations and companies. When you think about, go to Vietnam, of course, go to different countries, maybe in Asia, wherever, where they actually care about their citizens a little bit more maybe than ours, than our country does. because it's not about profiting on sick people. It's about keeping people healthy. There's a lot of things that are banned in different countries than that are not here because of those exact reasons. So the next video I'm going to show you is a little disturbing, because you think about, the process of food and where we've come from and where we are today, and see how, again, it's the evil part of all this. I'm telling you, there's good and there's evil. And when you see what I'm about to show you, you'd be like, wow, what won't they stop at? This is ridiculous, what I'm about to show you. Now, one of the things that is in this clip, and I'm going to kind of prepare you for it, but Ozempic has got, I guess, like a $2 billion lawsuit against them because people are, losing their eyesight, their teeth, and there's a lot of weird things happening with Ozempic, because I think there's a lot more inside Ozempic that they're not telling us. It's not just a GLP-1 enhancer. It doesn't just focus on the increasing that GLP-1 production as far as getting, the blood sugar and insulin levels, better in your body, which obviously helps. That's what it's for. That's what they do. But Ozempic's got some other stuff in it that is not clearly not, doing well for people. But so this company is, and again, you can look at all the GLP. We got peptides. So the company Premier Life that I'm with, we have GLP-1, peptides they're not Ozempic, because that's what they are, is just the GLP-1 peptide. There are different kinds of them, but they don't have the stuff that Ozempic does in them. So it's a little misleading there. I don't want you to be afraid of GLP-1 peptides. Ozempic, I do. I don't want you taking Ozempic, because again, you'll probably find out later on, probably take another year or two before we ever discover that Ozempic is killing people. Look at anybody, they call it the skull face. What do they call it? Ozempic face, maybe, I don't know, but the people they're losing muscle too. It's not just the fat they're burning, but they're also losing a lot of muscle. And so it's probably gone to a little too extreme. But what I'm about to show you, I think, has gone a little bit way more extreme than just, having some issues with some diet, processes or products, things like that. Now we're trying to combat the weight loss. Even you'll see what I'm talking about, and please try to be strong, because I think this is it's evil. It is just straight up evil. Go ahead and play the clip.
You want to hear how crazy it is? Because of the GLP-1 medications, Ozempic, Mounjaro, Wegovy, what's happening is that all the companies that make snacks are losing profit because people are not snacking like they used to. Quarterly reports of these companies that make 75 different snacks and chips and, bonbons or whatever you may call, they are losing money. The last year, guess what the number one focus of these companies are? So they've hired biochemical engineers that they are making GLP-1 proof snacks that even if you are on GLPs and you eat it, it still makes you hungry and makes you want to eat more of it. So if our was not already processed and engineered enough, imagine now they're taking it one step forward by making food that is GLP-1 resistant.
I mean, you know why I brought that up earlier about the whole, Philip Morris and the cigarette industry? Because they're doing it now again. Okay, they're oh, well, we'll fix this. You got people getting healthy. Well, not getting healthy off Ozempic, getting healthy off of GLP-1 peptides and things that are safe and natural and holistic. Yes, we are getting healthier. Well, let's counter that by let's make the snacks as things that people used to eat a little bit more addictive, and so they won't, not addictive, but more like it's GLP-1 proof. So the GLP-1 you're still going to have that craving for the snack after we get you really involved in the snacks and get you kind of addicted back into that realm you were before you got on that GLP-1. I mean, how evil is that? And again, you understand, where does it all revolve around? What does it all revolve around? Money, power, greed, all of that. You see where I'm going with that? So the people that are in control of our food and the things that we have access to, we're literally handcuffed. I mean, unless you want to grow your own gardens and learn how to, which we may all have to sometime. I don't know. I'm seeing stuff on social media now where I'm thinking I got to start preparing on, literally living on my own land. Like, cause I don't know what's going to happen in the near future, but it gets to the point where these people have no care in the world for us as humans. They want us alive, but they don't want us, dead. They want us sick so that they can, keep making us more sick and keep feeding us with more pharmaceuticals. Okay. So you understand, there's a lot of issues with our food and what we have access to. And I've always been on the other end of the spectrum, wanting to say, listen, I don't want to eat a bunch of junk. I want to find other ways of being healthy. That's why I find supplements. That's why I find different products and services that I think will benefit me to counteract the stuff that I'm kind of stuck at. I'm not really saying I'm stuck because I can eat fruits and vegetables, but even then you don't know if they've been tampered with. I was watching there was one on the McDonald's one about the fries that I could have put on there. It was a little long, but they're talking about how, they don't want any blemishes on the fries. So they spray the potato crops with this incredibly toxic chemical that, by the way, after the farm is sprayed, that nobody can be back on that land for another 5 days. For another 5 days, they have to let the stuff settle for 5 days. Then when they harvest the potatoes, they have to put them in storage for another day. Nobody can enter the barn where they're having them in the little storage or wherever they do. They put them in the storage area. Nobody can enter that for another day. Are you kidding? And we're eating that. Okay. And that's another thing I didn't show you, but it gives you an example that there's a lot of things out there that are showing ways that our big, fast food chains are making food and making, they want the potatoes pretty and they want them all this and that. Well, there's a lot of cost in keeping the bugs off of that. I'm not really referring to the cost. I'm talking about the cost in general as far as our health. You're costing us our health by making your French fries look nice and pretty. Well, screw your French fries, McDonald's. I mean, you're killing people. Come on, seriously. So again, it's all about the mighty dollar. It's all about power and who holds it and who can hire who and who can shut up who can quiet them down, who can blackmail people. I'm telling you, it's everywhere. Before I was Googling that whole thing about Philip Morris and who the scientist was, there was a Victor something listed on the thing, but it said he was a whistleblower about the cigarettes being, addictive. Well, I don't even know if the guy's alive anymore, because every time I hear the word whistleblower, I think, well, that person's got to keep his head on his, or him or her, got to keep their head on on their shoulders. They got to keep them, the head on swivel is what I'm saying. Sorry. They got to keep their head on a swivel because they got to look out for their lives, because these people are so ruthless. And again, I'm talking about how now they're killing people, and you could call me crazy all you want. I mean, I'm seeing stuff, and I'm, there's one of the lady that was the only vote that did not allow funds to go to illegal immigrants in Minnesota. I think it was Minnesota. All about all that right now, what's going on in the Somalians out there. I'm not going to get political that way, but the lady is dead. She died about 3 days later after she cast her vote to keep from funding illegal immigrants. She's dead now. Yeah, mysterious death. Right. Okay. I'll believe that. You got to be kidding me. And I'm telling you, these people, these higher ups, the government, all that, they think we're stupid, but there's a lot of control they have, and I don't want to be treated like they are treating everybody. I don't like that at all. It's not fair. It's unethical. It's ruthless. Evil is the word for it. You can get rid of all those other ones if you want. Put one word there, evil, because evil encompasses all of that. Okay, it's evil what our food sources are doing to our foods. Big Pharma, it's evil what they're doing too, because they're all in the same boat. They all wear the same clothes, they all have the same mindset. It's a revolving door. People get born, you get your birth certificate, you get your social security number, which is kind of like, your tax ID kind of thing. I don't know. You can go into all kinds of weird stuff about that. But anyways, you understand that, foods that we have access to are not great. And you have to be a little bit more like a step ahead of everybody in the food industry, because what they're not telling you is on purpose. They don't want to tell you what's in their foods. They don't want to tell you things that will make you stop eating their foods, because with you not eating their foods and buying their foods, they don't have the money that they used to have, and they want more. Because once you give a greedy company a lot of money, they're going to want nothing but more money. Okay, so we are on the the bottom of the totem pole when it comes to that kind of stuff, and we got to do better. We got to counter that by becoming healthier, stronger, and going around these people, finding our own ways to get healthy and actually live and survive. Live and survive. That's the name of the game. Okay, so love you guys all. Enjoy Monday Night Football tonight. Go Jaguars. They played yesterday and won. So we're looking good for playoffs, and can't wait for that. So definitely have a great night, and we'll see you guys next Monday night at 5:30 for another episode of Zealous Wellness with Mike Hollis.
Thank you for watching Zealous Wellness with Mike Hollis. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. See you next time.